All right, let's take a look at the market. I don't normally do videos on Friday, but this was a very important Friday. I said yesterday in yesterday's video that today was a really critical day for the market. I don't think some people realize that there are going to be certain times in the history of the market where there's real critical days. And this Friday, especially this week, but particularly this Friday, was very, very critical because we were waiting to see how was the week going to finish. And sure enough, folks, we're on the weekly chart here, and you can see we got ourselves a red candlestick. We'll call this video. I don't normally do videos on Friday, so we'll call this a special video. Okay, so that's a pretty big deal that we have this red candlestick here on the weekly chart. Okay, so let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks. And prior to this week, we only had one of those previous 15 weeks that was actually a down week. All right, and then it just, of course, took off again. So this is a big deal. Now, this candlestick is a little bit different than a lot of other candlesticks on the weekly chart. Even if you look at this one, it's just kind of a full-bodied candlestick. All right, let's see. This one had a peak to it. You know, that kind of had a certain look to it, right? Yeah, so this candlestick just not quite an evening star, but it has an evening star look to it, and that's exactly what I was talking about yesterday, why this is pretty important. So, of course, we need confirmation, which is going to come next week. If next week is a down week, that's a pretty big deal. Okay, and I believe that'll probably be enough for us to conclude that we're heading this way towards this cycle low over here. Okay, so this is a sign of potentially, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but this is a sign of potentially of the top of the market, for at least for now. But like I said, we need confirmation next week to know that for sure. But this is pretty important because we want to know ahead of time, as much as we possibly can, the greatest probability of what the market's going to be doing, right? That's the whole point. That's why we use cycle analysis and all kinds of other bits of data to conclude or help come to forecast what we think the market's going to do, okay? All right, so that's the weekly chart. And we will go ahead and take a look at the rest of the charts like we normally do. We'll look at the daily. We'll look at my trades that I made today. We'll look at the intraday charts and finish up the video, okay? Okay, one thing I wanted to say about the weekly chart before we move to the daily is look at this number down here, 166 on the MACD. Been tracking this very closely for the last few weeks. This is an extremely elevated number. Like I said, only two other times in the history of the entire history of the S&P 500, going all the way back to how far back that goes. At least on the TOS platform, I think it's the 1980s. Of course, you could go back further on the Dow Jones Industrial and even further back on the Dow Jones Transportation, but we're not going to cover all that right now. We're just talking about the S&P 500. And I think only going all the way back to the 80s on this charting software anyways, this is the third highest number we've ever seen. So pretty snazzy on the weekly chart. Now, that doesn't mean that the market's going to pull back immediately, like I said, I think a few days ago. Sometimes this stuff can just drag on for weeks and weeks, even months, before it pulls back. Okay. In this case, I don't think that's going to happen. I do think we're going to get this pullback here, but I just wanted to mention that this is a very high number, right? The market is extremely elevated on the longer time frames. All right, this is just like monster mash, right? This thing is not just overheated, it's gone nuclear. Okay, now to the daily. Okay, so here we are on the daily chart. This is today. The range was 46.5. Not a huge day, but decent enough. Down day, we had these two down days here. We had the couple bounce back days, and then we got this red candlestick today. Of course, today was Friday, and I think there was some option expirations or something going on today, right? I don't really trade much options anymore, so I don't really pay attention to that too much. I just trade futures. But I know today was a pretty big day, and we had the we had the Fed heads somewhere talking today talking nonsense, pretend like they know what they're talking about. You know, the destroyers of the financial markets and the finances all the way around the world and the economy. And, you know, they create these big, massive problems and then they act like they're going to fix it. Yeah, okay. That's convenient, isn't it? Just think about it. Let's say you went out and you tore up the street that you live on. Like you just went out there and you're throwing M80 fireworks. I don't know. You're using jackhammers. You're just destroying the pavement, right? The road's full of potholes. So it went from being good and you destroyed it. And then you turn around and tell everybody, I'm going to fix the road. We're going to fix the road. You get out there and you start fixing the road. And you say, all hail the road fixer. Bow to us because we have fixed your roads. Well, that's the Federal Reserve, guys. That's what they do. They destroy stuff and then they repair it and they act like they're doing us a favor. What a bunch of frickin' clowns. Yeah. So the Fed heads, I know the market, a lot of people that trade the market, follow what they say, and the market does react to them and blah, 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 blah. I won't get into what they're really being influenced by because they are being influenced, and the way that they make their decisions is much deeper and broader than people realize. But I digress. So today, red candlestick, pretty cool. Here's a February 25th cycle low that could come into play here. You know, we could see some dip down into this. And then, of course, as I've been mentioning, this whole area over here is probably going to be somewhere in here is going to be a pretty significant market pullback. So here are the supports. 49.70, I think is absolutely going to happen pretty easily. And let's see, 50.66. So 48.66. Yeah. So all the way down here, 48.72. I think this is a reasonable number to target. Just if I had to like throw a number out there. I'm not really a numbers guy too much. I do look at supports, of course, and resistances to help make, you know, trades within intraday charts and stuff like that. Yes, I pay attention to those things. But I don't really follow numbers, whether price or points, like this is a point system. As far as entries and stuff like that, I think I talked about that a little while back in one of my other videos. So I'm more of a cycle person and momentum person and data person. That's how I do my trades. And I'm very profitable doing that. Okay, I do concern myself with price on exits pretty much, but not so much in entries. Okay, so this is the daily chart. I think that's going to be a decent cycle low right there. Potentially out here is even a bigger potential for big decline in the market. All right. I mean, just look at this MACD in the daily chart. Just flatline, you know, just for like weeks. Just flatlining here. Right over here, it was pretty hot up in the 80s. And then now it's just been sitting around between 40 and 50 and 60, just flatlining, going nowhere. Yeah. Okay. The market's been so hot that all this divergence doesn't amount to anything, right? The market's just, it doesn't care about divergence. It doesn't care. Market doesn't care about divergence when it's this crazy. Universe indicator. Let's see. Just to briefly talk about this universe indicator and how I utilize it to talk about daily forecasts. So I use the recently used this universe indicator, which is my own indicator. I use it on, let's see, this day, and this day. I think 3 or 4 of these days I use the universe indicator to help me forecast these days. Today last night, I told the members I wasn't sure about today because, you know, Fridays are a little bit wild and the data from the universe indicator was, you know, a little bit tricky to read. Okay, but this really comes in handy. I'm not going to dive into the specifics. Okay, but I do use this indicator in conjunction with other stuff to help make forecasts about what the market's doing. And I'd say these 3 days right here, man, I was absolutely banging on. Every nightly email was exactly spot on. You know, that doesn't happen every day, but these 3 days were just like smoking hot. The emails, as I looked back at the emails and what I said, I was like, okay, that was good. All right. Okay, this is my profits from going from last night all the way through pre-market, and even some intraday stuff that I traded. I did a total of 12 contracts. So this was 4 trades, because 4 times 3 equals 12, right? I'm trading 3 contracts at a time. 12 specific contracts. These are futures. I don't trade options. And my total profit for the day last night, pre-market and today, was $2,887.50. Really nice day of trading. Good 18 hours, whatever it was. And I need more days like this. This was really nice. All right, so that's my thing. My goals are to work my way up to 4 contracts, which I'm not there yet. And I'd like to see a minimum of $1,250 a day for this position size, maybe as much as $1,500. I shouldn't say as much, but kind of like just somewhere in this area would be a reasonable goal on a daily basis. I think 1,500 is very doable, but I'm trying to, as I increase my position size, these are my goals, guys, we're talking about here. As I increase my position size from 2 contracts to 3 like I did, I can actually make, before on 2 contracts, it was $1,000 a day. Okay. And it took me 10 points. That's a crazy looking 1,000. It took me 10 points, because in futures trading points, it took me 10 points to make this $1,000, okay? To make that a little bit better. $1,000. $1,000. In Texas, we say bucks, or $1,000. Okay. So now that I moved up to 3 contracts, this was 2 contracts, right? 2 time. But now we're at 3 time. Okay, now I'm at 3 time contracts. And I could actually trade less points. Now this is a big deal. I could trade, like, let's say 8 points. Okay, or 9 points instead of 10, and still make more money. So instead of making $1,000, I can make $1,250. If I trade the same 10 points, I'll make $1,500. But the point I'm really trying to make here is, as your position size increases, you don't have to be exposed to the market as much. I can trade less range, right? This is 10 points larger range than this range. Okay, so if I'm only trading, let's say, 8 points throughout the day to get my $1,250, okay, I don't know if this number is exact, but just kind of ballparking it here. I'm exposed to the market for less amount of time and less risk, right? That's great. That's what you want. So your position size increases. You actually, believe it or not, in some regards, your risk goes down if you know what you're doing. Now the price movement per ticket is going to be larger, and if you're in, if you pick the wrong direction or bad timing, it can really work against you bad, obviously. Okay, but these are my goals. Increase my position size, reduce my risk, but still make more money. That's a win-win, all right? That's what you want. That's, in my opinion, that's a great goal to have. Okay, so that's where I'm at. All right, so here we are on the 15-minute chart. We're looking at the intraday charts now and talk about the trades of the day, all right? Pretty amazing. If you look at yesterday, it was very similar far as the 15-minute chart goes. We had one trade right there yesterday. That's yesterday. Right there is yesterday. That's all yesterday. Okay, that's Thursday. This, all the way to here, this is Friday. Okay. Friday. Look at this. Very similar, right? This one happened at 10:30. This happened at 8:15. So the time wasn't exactly the same, but the theme, was there was one significant trade in the day, right, on the intraday chart for the 15-minute chart. Now there was other trades on the 5-minute chart, but we're just showing the 15-minute chart. I had a member today on the Discord server, which is where all the services take place, which, by the way, if you want to become a member, stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how to do that. So this member asked me, this one of the members been around, been a member for a long time, well over 2 years, I think now. And a really good guy, but he's a hardworking guy, right? He's a hardworking guy. I'm not gonna mention his name because I respect people's privacy, but he's a hardworking guy. He's got a family, so he can't sit there and watch their charts like I do. He's got to go do the day job and take care of the kids and be daddy and be husband and bring in the bacon, as we say here in Texas, which means go make the money at the job. All right. So he's got a lot on his plate, as we like to say. And he asked me today, how do you trade? What do you do? Somebody's dinging me on the phone. Hello, phone. How do you trade? Like, are you just watching the charts all day? Do you just watch them at certain parts of the day? Are you just randomly watching them? Because, they see that I'm profitable most days, and obviously people want to be profitable, right? That's the whole point of trading. And I said, well, yeah, what I do is I have multiple computers. I have one that I work a day job too, but it's a remote job. So that's very convenient for me. I can sit at my desk in my house, my home office, and I can work my day job, and I can look over and watch the charts, right? And if there's a trade that's there, I can place a quick trade, 5 seconds, place a trade and go back to work. It's no big deal. Now, obviously not everybody can do that. So what I told him, and this is really important, I want people to get this, especially people who are already members or who want to become members, and you're busy like this guy is, and you can't just sit there and watch charts, okay? I make most of my money, guys and gals, right here, what you're seeing, right off this Get Us Plus indicator. Okay, I know everybody has their own style. They draw their channels, and they've got their triangles, and they've got their parabolic. It's gone parabolic. Like the guy at another YouTube channel that talks about it all the time. Everybody's got their own style, and I get it. I don't want to interrupt someone's ideas about how to be profitable. Okay, and I don't want to try to oversimplify this and say, hey, just do this and you're going to be a millionaire, because that's not true. But for you guys and gals out there who are like one of my members who are just super busy, okay, just trade the Get Us Plus indicator. Only do that. Don't trade anything else, because you already know you don't have the time to do it. Now, you're going to see at the end of this video when I talk about how to become a member, how this all works. But just real quick here, when the Get Us Plus indicator gets triggers like this, it sends an alert over to the Discord server. Okay? And guess what? The Discord server, you can set notifications. You can turn them on. And you can load that Discord app on most mobile phones if you're out and about, right? You're in your car driving to and from work, you're at your job, whatever. Okay? So that's my opinion about how you can handle this. Right? Don't get caught up. If you're a busy person like this person is, don't get caught up trying to trade only when you can. That's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. Right? You find a few moments in your day and you think it's time to trade. That's a big mistake. The market doesn't care about whether this is your free time or not. It does not care about that. It'll chew you up and spit you out, and you'll have all kinds of losses. Okay? So turn on the notification on the Discord server when you're a member for the S&P 500 alerts channel. And when your phone vibrates or tells you there's an alert, you got to pay attention to it, especially the 15-minute chart and the 5-minute chart. But the 15-minute chart, that one's the bread and butter. Okay, you won't get them as often. So if you're not getting a lot of alerts, at all on the 15-minute chart, even like none during the day, then you're going to have to pay attention to the 5-minute alerts, okay? But the reason I mention that is because the 15-minute alerts and the 15-minute Get Us Plus indicator tend to be extremely reliable most of the time. Okay, so let's look at it. Look what happened yesterday. It came in, it was down here to the moon. What happened today? Down here to the moon. Now, sometimes alerts will happen just the opposite. Like there might be an alert right here. It'll be let's say, okay, let me just get this all out of here. Okay. Sometimes you might get an alert, let's say like let's put it about right here. And it would be for this trade, down. Okay? So don't think it's just the Get Us Plus indicator is just for alerts going long. Sometimes it's going for short. The market's just been very bullish, so it's alerting to go long, right? Got it? Okay. So just be cognizant of that sometimes you'd be trading long, and other times if you get an alert like right here, you'd be trading short. All right? So that's my opinion about you, for you guys and gals out there who are members, okay? And you're trying to figure out when to squeeze in some trades. Don't try to squeeze in trades. That's a bad idea. You're going to have to respond to the alerts. So just think about it. You're at your day job. You've got the kids at soccer practice. You're taking them to and from school. I don't know, whatever you're doing. You're feeding them. Okay? And you get an alert. Guess what? You might have to take 5 minutes and pause everything. You got to pause 5 minutes at the job. Take a look at the streaming charts. Does it look good? Yeah, I'm taking a trade. Okay. And you're probably going to be right back to being busy, right? Guess what that means? You're going to have to put in limit orders, stop losses, stuff like this. Because I don't have to do that because my finger's on the trigger, right? My finger's on the trigger. I don't have to put in stop losses and limit orders. I do sometimes. If I'm walking to the kitchen and I don't want to get caught out, get something to eat, whatever, lay down, take a nap because I'm always trading day and night. Okay, but for you guys, you don't have that luxury, right? You can't sit in front of the computer watching charts like I do. So guess what? You're going to have to use the tools, which is not as good. Okay, it's not as good. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't putting in orders and walking away from the computer is not as good as having your finger on the trigger. It just isn't. But it's better than nothing. All right, so that's my opinion about how to handle this. All right, I would just focus on maybe 15-minute alerts, maybe some 5-minute alerts once in a while, but especially the 15-minute alerts. I would not trade just because you have time on your hands. Don't do that. You've got to change your mindset to trade when the alerts come in on the Discord server. You go look, you make sure the charts look good. If you like it, it's a 15-minute alert, let's say. In this instance, we're talking about 15-minute alerts. You're like, okay, I like it. It's short, it's long, whatever it is. I take a position. If it doesn't look good, don't touch it. And don't okay, I got free time, I'm going to trade now. No. Don't do that. The only time that would be applicable is if when you have free time, you also get an alert. Okay. All right. So just to recap, guys and gals, I make most of my profit on the alerts. That's why I designed this software, or at least the logic in this pre-made software. I didn't create all this software, but the logic in here I did. That's why I created it. It tells me when to make a trade. And of course, like I said, I do more than just blindly make a trade, but that's why I put it in there. This wasn't just some gimmick so I could create a membership so members could have something to trade on. Check, make money, membership comes in, make cash. Okay, that's not why I did it. The truth is my membership, it's an okay size. It isn't huge. I'm not making millions of dollars off the membership, by the way. It's a small membership, which hopefully grows. Okay. So don't think that this was just some gimmick I threw together to try to impress members. I actually trade this. When you see me every day saying, I made $1,000 today, guess what? Most of it came from these triggers. Okay. Well, like today, you saw I made whatever it was, $2,800. Okay. I would say at least half of it, maybe more, came from the Get Us Plus indicators. Okay. Yes, I took some chances in some other areas, like I think I took some trades here and maybe a little bit over here. Okay. I was busy during this big old run up and I couldn't trade because I had to do the old day job. Don't even get me going about that. See, you guys and gals are not the only ones that have to deal with other stuff. I have to actually work too, And this was very frustrating because this is like a few $1,000s right here that I just watched go blowing by. So like I said in my yesterday's video, I think it was, or the day before, pray for me because I'm trying to transition away from full-time job to full-time trading. I'm like right in between the two, and it's driving me nuts. All right, so we all got our issues. We all got our problems on different levels, right? All right, so anyway, I really hope this video was helpful to everybody, both about how important this week was, and I think we just maybe, we'll get confirmation next week, but I think just maybe we're seeing a top here in the market. And two, I hope I addressed some concerns to the members specifically about how do I trade this? Well, you just heard it here. Rewind the video, watch it again. That's how I do it. Lastly, if you want to become a member, stick around. I'm about to head over to show you how to become a member. For everybody else, happy trading, everybody. God bless everybody. I hope you all had a great week. Okay, you stuck around. You want to become a member. That's great. There is a link in the description just below the YouTube video. Okay, make sure you read those instructions with that link very carefully, because I know a lot of people want to trade on their mobile phone, on their mobile devices. I just want to say up front, I personally don't like doing that. I'm not saying you can't do it. Obviously, if you're out and about and you're busy, a mobile device is better than nothing. But honestly, a desktop or at minimum a laptop is much better to go. You want a large screen when you're trading, okay? Just if you don't have that now, that should be a goal for you to work on as you move forward. Get yourself a cheap desktop. You know, if you're in the United States or even Australia and other nations, I think there's eBay all around the world now. I'm getting cheap computers on eBay, guys, for like $300. The monitors are a little pricey, but the computers are cheap. You can get a good computer for under $300, a desktop. Okay, I know this generation doesn't like to they all want to do their mobile device, but mobile device is horrible for trading. It's just not ideal. Okay, but anyway, so to join, read the instructions below the video, click on the Discord link. It's going to bring you over to this Discord server. This is my server, get a server. Then you're going to click on server shop. It brings you over to this page. You subscribe right here for the membership. Guys and gals, $8 a month, $7.99. I mean, you know, crazy value. Crazy value. And I know this should be like $50. Okay, but I mean, keeping it around $8 just because. So let's just talk about what comes with the membership. We looked at some of this. We looked at the 15-minute chart earlier in this video. That was a streaming chart, by the way, that the members get. There's 3 of them. There's an hourly one, 15-minute, and 5-minute. Okay, they're down here. So when you join, just click down here on the S&P 500 stream. You'll get all 3 charts. There's like 15 to 20 people usually looking at this stream nowadays. When I first started out, it was 2 or 3. Now it's grown to like 15 or 20. So the membership's growing, which is great. You know, that's joined, not everybody, but many people that joined have stayed because they like the membership. They like the $8 because obviously it's an extreme value, okay? So that's the streaming charts. Now, what I was talking about earlier in the video about the alerts, when the GITIS Plus indicator gets triggered on the streaming charts, it sends an alert over to this channel right here. Okay, so for my friend there that was talking about how I trade, and for you, my opinion about what I think you should do is just right-click on this channel right here on your Discord app and turn notifications on. Okay, and in there you're going to see, which I know this person probably knows this, but for everybody else, what you're going to see inside this channel is a 5-minute alert, lots of those, right? They come in and going. You'll see occasionally you see a 15-minute alert. You might get one of those, 2 of those a day. You might not. And then you also got the 1-hour alert. Those don't come in very often. They might come in like a few times a week. Okay. So this happens a lot. A lot of these, well, you know, relatively speaking, lots of these, if I can make a check mark, a few of these, and, you know, and then maybe occasionally one of those like that. Okay. So that's what you want to do. And then when the alert happens, okay, you maybe if you're busy at work and you don't want to disturb people, right? You just put your phone on vibrate. Your phone vibrates, you look at it real quick. Oh, what do you know? The Discord app has alerted you that there's something going on. I would just turn off alerts for everything else when you're at work. Just turn off all the other alerts. Like don't turn on alerts for any other channels, just S&P 500 alerts. So you know when that phone vibrates, it's just either you're getting a text from a family member or friend or child or something, or it's a Discord app telling you that there's a potential trade, right? You got to just narrow in and stay focused. Okay, so that's kind of my opinion about how to handle that, all right? Streaming charts, if you can't watch them, set the alerts, you'll get alerted. Really nice. All right? Okay, so that's that. Those are the streaming charts, super helpful down here. Okay, talked about the alerts that go along with it. There's also alerts for all this stuff right here, okay? Gold, crude oil, and top 30 stocks, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, and some daily alerts as well. Now, these don't have streaming charts, but they do get alerts. Okay, the streaming charts are just for the S&P 500, right? Because I can't stream everything. It's actually way too much streaming. All right. There are some premium symbols I put out Monday through Thursday. There's future symbols in there. There's optionable stock symbols in there. There's industry symbols in there. There's symbols in there that look like they might be ready to get shorted. Okay, so there could be anywhere from like 2 to 4 files worth of symbols in here. Okay, so you might want to check that out. The GITIS only post. This is where I post the videos. So it's a read-only channel for everybody else. I'm the only one that could edit, you know, actually do something in this channel. But you can go in there and watch the videos. Okay. So after I get done with this video, I'll put the YouTube link in this channel. You can you can actually watch the YouTube video right on the Discord server. You don't have to go to YouTube to do it. Very convenient. And also I put whenever the nightly emails go out, I notify all the members in this channel. Okay. And speaking of the nightly emails, if you want to drop your email address in the emails only channel, then every night, Monday through Thursday, you will get a daily chart of the S&P 500. And on that chart is the daily cycles I have on there. Right now, there's a lot of support lines on there because the market's near all-time high, so there's a lot of support. Okay, very helpful, super helpful. So some people only want the emails. They're just too busy. They don't want to do the streaming charts. They're not day traders like I am. They just want the nightly email. They're probably more like swing traders or investors, okay? And they just want the email. Okay. Fixed income, occasionally I'll trade corporate bonds. If I do, I'll put it in there. And these are kind of like where we do most of our chatting, these two channels here, okay? So everything in this big old rectangle is members only. $7.99, you get all this, okay? The other thing I wanted to say about the streaming charts is on the 1 hour chart, there's actually cycles on there. And I put the time on there. I put the actual time. So you might see something like this, right? You see a timeline like this, left to right. Let's say it's 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12, blah, 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 blah. Well, there might be a cycle in there that looks like this, like an arc. Okay. And I'll put on right on the chart, like this might be 10 a.m. I'll put like something like this, 10. Okay, with a little down arrow. Right on the chart, on the streaming chart for the hourly. This is the hourly chart does this. Okay, and that's really important because that is often very accurate. It tells you when the market's either going to stall or come down on in the intraday time frames. Super helpful. I trade a lot of that. It's like confirmation to me. I might get a Gittles Plus indicator that gets triggered, plus it's right near a cycle low. Oh, I'm all over that. If I don't get an indication from the Gittles Plus indicator, that's fine. I still may trade this if I think the market's going to pull back down into it. Okay, so that's super helpful on the streaming charts for the hourly, okay? I just wanted to mention that because I forgot to mention it when I was down here. Okay, the rules on the server. There's some rules in here. You got to read the rules, guys and gals. There's rules in there about be nice to everybody else, be respectful on the server, okay? No nasty language, no dirty posts, none of that stuff. I don't tolerate that. If you do it, you're going to get kicked. I'm going to warn you, and then I'm going to kick you, and I may even have to ban you if you keep doing it, being a bad boy or a bad girl. Okay, so don't do that. Okay. Also in here is the refund rules, and there's a disclaimer in there that says I'm not a financial advisor, that everything on this Discord server that you see and hear and whatever else is all opinion only. And everything in this video you see and hear is strictly opinion only. I do not give advice, okay, guys? It's really important you understand that. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. I hope everybody had an awesome week. Okay, happy trading, everybody. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you all real soon again next time.